this is like 30 years experience, they've left to some degree already. They've compromised something. Something has given already because they said, this is more important. Somebody asked me today, don't tell me who you are, young person, you know. They said, I want to go out with I'm dating or I'm with a non-Orthodox person. Maybe Roman Catholic, I can't remember. And they said, but they're Roman Catholic or they're some other faith. What should I do? And I said, well, what do they want to become? I don't think they want to become Orthodox. So what's my advice right now? Don't get any more emotionally involved, because if the emotions are the most important thing, emotions change like that. You know, 10 years in, when you're fighting over who's going to raise the kids, how, and who's going to baptize who, and all of that. I mean, I've seen. Okay, it's time for some stories. Here's a story. I came to my first parish as a young priest. Right? We're going to go over because this is an important question. My first parish, there was an older Russian man. They've been married about 25 years. She came into the church without any preparation, without any instruction. It was the way they did it back then in some places. She just came, she was converted into the church, but she knew nothing. But for 25 years, she was receiving Holy Communion. Now, she had already been brought into the church. I mean, she was charismated and everything. It wasn't like a mixed marriage, but it was a mixed marriage, because she never really believed that she was Orthodox. So I come, you know, young, zealous priest, and the guy caught fire. He liked, you know, the fact that maybe we're going to do some things, and I want to be more involved in my church. So all of a sudden, he starts implementing these practices in his house. We're going to start fasting. We're going to start doing this. You have to cook this. And I didn't know any of that. And he's telling his wife all of these things. So now I'm getting phone calls, whoever said before, like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. The 17 and 18-year-old children are calling me saying, Father, you better get over here. Mom and Dad are going to kill each other. They're going to kill each other. So I get there. He's crying. His face is full of tears. And he says, all I want to do is be a good Orthodox Christian. And she's saying, well, he never said any of this before. I never bargained for this. 25 years later in their marriage. 25 years later, and you see the deep division now all of a sudden. And you know what happens? You know what happens when kids see that, when the children of those marriages see that? They don't want anything to do with any church. And both of them left every church. They're not Roman Catholic, they're not Orthodox, they're nothing. They say, look what religion did to my parents. That's the gift we give our kids. You better straighten it out before you get married. You better figure all that out. And not try to figure it out at the chalice. When you're putting a priest in the position of saying, who are you? You don't believe what I believe. Please, don't do this to me. Don't do this to this man. This man needs, you know, his children, his peaceful children, to be coming in communing with peace. Give him that blessing, that benefit. And come when you're ready, when you're authentically ready. One more story. Same kind of idea. Same parish. This couple was married 45 years. One day, I had been there like 5-6 years already. One day she comes to me. She had married a Presbyterian. Yeah. Oh, look at the faces you're making. But it's like a Protestant. It's like a mainline Protestant, you know. Presbyterian. Presbyter means elder, so they have elders, whatever. So, one week, one Sunday, they go to the Orthodox church. The next Sunday, they go to the Presbyterian church. Orthodox, Presbyterian. 45 years. 45 years they do that. Finally, she cracked up. She came to me, she said, I can't do it anymore, Father. She was weeping, sobbing. Like, if she could be crying blood, she would be. And she says, I don't want to do it anymore. After 45 years, she said, it's a sham. And our marriage has not benefited from it. It's suffered because of it. So I gave her a blessing. At that late point in her life, they're all gone now. They're all in the next life. God helped them all. They were all torn apart because of this question. I gave her a blessing. I said, come every Sunday, just for the rest of your life. Who knows how long you have left? And she died a few years later. We have to give people peace. That's what Christ comes. He doesn't come to bring division. So heal the division before you try to unite emotions and worldly types of marriage. Marriage, like I said before, in the church, is for the kingdom of God. It's to get us through this life in one piece for the kingdom of God. You know the best? Remember Fiddler on the Roof? You remember the movie Fiddler on the Roof? You remember what Tevye says? You know, it's a Jewish, I can do a Jewish reference, it's okay. So it's the idea of breaking down the tradition. And the father's like tearing his hair out because tradition is breaking down. The first couple, they want to have an arranged marriage, which was their way. And the two decide for themselves that they want to get married. They were both still Jews, right? But they decide they're going to do it without the arrangement of their parents. And it was a big breaking of the tradition, but they blessed it. He blessed it. The second one was not only, let's say, a breaking down of the tradition because they decided to get married, but it's a little wilder. But they're still both Jews, but one is more like worldly, political, and they still bless it. The third one, and it's ironic, because the third one was a Jew and an Orthodox Christian. And the father says, no. He says, this beautiful line, do you know a bird can marry a fish, but where would they make their home? It's a profound statement in a weird context. A bird can marry a fish, but where would they make their home? You know, we can marry anybody out, but where's our spiritual home? We have no unity there. So it's a tough question, and it's a pastoral question for a priest who has to deal with one that's already happening. Well, something's got to give. Either the marriage is going to give, or the faith of one of them is going to give, or the faith of the other is going to give. Or some combination of the three. Something's got to give. Why? Why do we put ourselves in that horrible position? Because all we make is like pain. It's like unnecessarily. And you know who rejoices? The enemy rejoices because of the brokenness.
I think they need, couples who are in this situation, need to speak about these things before the marriage.
Before, yeah.
They need to have counseling with the priest for many, many months, and not just to put it under the rug, because it doesn't help. I know in our church here, these things were not practiced, but communion is much higher than the marriage. So that's why we marry people. They have to be Christians, baptized in the name of the Trinity, to be married in the church, but they have to accept to raise their children in Orthodox, baptize them Orthodox. They have to accept that they have to come to common agreement. Marriage, the first few years of the marriage is already difficult enough. So to bring two different practices into it is gonna make it much harder. But they need to talk about these before the marriage and come to agreement. Because I have seen that kind of things also where I have been a priest, that where the family of the husband or the girl, if they are Orthodox, very strong Orthodox, and the other one is Roman Catholic, very strong Roman Catholic, if they don't resolve these issues, where are they going to go to church? And having one goes one direction, the other one goes the other, does not help the family, like you said, Father. It just shatters the family. The children hate everything, and taking them from one to the other is not. You have to decide in one place to raise them there, and those things they have to do before the marriage, and they need to talk about it. And I have seen some ugly scenes between where the baptism came, the day of baptism, and the grandmother from the man's side, she said, unless they're baptized Orthodox, I'm not going to be able, and then, to accept them. And then the grandmother from the bride side, she said, I'm not entering the church. And actually, literally, she will not enter the Orthodox church because she's Catholic, very, very Irish Catholic. And it was a very ugly situation during the baptism, where you need to talk about these things. And like Abuna said earlier, the young people, marriage is not all about love.
At least not about what we think.
what we think love is. No, but I mean, it's just this fantasy of love that we build about.
This is love.
This is the love that we
So
call.
if you're Orthodox and this one's Orthodox and this one's Roman Catholic, or this one's Lutheran and this one's Orthodox, right? What does this mean? Which one of you, or both of you, can you sacrifice like this and figure it out for the sake of this kind of love? Otherwise, your love is selfish. You know, I never used to say this when I was a young priest, but I say it now. Otherwise, I'm not going to marry you. I can't see any more unnecessary pain. Go find someone else to marry. You know what? I'm old enough, nothing to lose. They say, I can't marry you. I can't marry you. I can't live with myself marrying you to you because you want what you want. This is what you need. You know, not everybody who's 20 years old is ready to accept that.
They say yes.
They say they are. Well, yes, Father. I said, okay, figure it out, and then come. Who's going to convert?
Okay, but let's say there are no issues and there are no concerns and one wins, let's say.
One wins?
Yeah, one manages
Yeah.
to raise the kids, there's no conflict.
Yeah.
It should be
So,
Orthodox.
tell me.
One wins.
No,
I don't know
I'm
if that's
just saying,
terminology.
I'm just-
Both
but I'm
win.
just-
Both of them.
Both
win.
of them win, but one is, let's say they're raising their kids Catholic. And now, here's an easier question.
Thank God.
Will they be saved?
Will they be saved?
Yes.
This is an easy question. Very easy. It's not my business.
Okay.
Except to say, I mean, if they go outside of the
Yes.
church, that's definitely not my business. What we say is this. The church doesn't say that. Outside of the Orthodox Church, there's, you know, like, you're going to hell, you're going to hell, you're going to hell. What we do say is, inside of the Holy Orthodox Church is salvation. This is the Ark. This is the Holy of Holies, right? Here you will find your salvation. If you go outside, you take your chances. I don't know. I don't know. There's a possibility you'll be saved, but, you know, like, are you a gambler?
So
You like Vegas?
Can we rely on what Jesus said to the disciples that, you know, it's harder for what is it? I can't think now.
The camel to pass through the eye of a
Yeah,
needle?
so it's easier for a camel to pass through this, but then he goes on to say that anything is possible with God.
With God, anything's
So-
possible. But I don't want just possible. I want everything I just said here, and everything we worship here, and everything we experience in life. You have the sure thing. We are sure of it. How? God has, you know, given so much grace, so much blessing to the church. Why would we question that and say, well, for the sake of this kind of love, emotional love or whatever, and I'm not saying that that's not real, but it might not be forever or everlasting, beyond the grave. You see? That kind of love, or the kind of love we need in marriage, has to be salvific. It has to take us into the kingdom of God. And if there's conflict or tension, or one wins and the other wins, and something's broken. And already we're flying just like with one wing through this life. And then what we do to our children in that, you know? So even if they're already married, get them together, whoever you're talking about. Get them together and say, listen, I love you both. Stop living the divided life. Let's talk. Let's talk for the next 10 years if we need to. But if you have this as, what's the word? Like the thing you want the most, the pearl of great price. If this is we are both going to be united, completely, totally one in Christ in the church. Because if you want to come to the chalice, that means you want to be united to Christ. If you're coming here to receive communion, already you want it. So if you want it, let's do it the right way. Let's do it. And we will do whatever we can. We will cry with each other. We will sweat with each other. We will love each other so much, right? We'll yell at each other sometime. Okay, glory to God. But we will never stop loving each other right into the kingdom of God until one of you is buried. And I would love to, I'd love to bury you. I'd love to bury you both, so, no. But I'd love to do it, to get them there. Are people willing to go that far? Because that's what it takes. Somebody, whoever asked the question about, that's as practical as it gets, isn't it? The love of the cross. You know why I said I'd like to bury you both? We had a seminary professor, God rest his soul, Father Vladimir Borichevsky. They were asking him about the question of Masons. You know what a Mason is, like a Freemason? They said, Do you bury Freemasons? Do you bury Masons? He said, I'd love to bury them all. It was a great answer. All right, guys, I'm so tired. You know what? Believe it or not, one last question. I didn't talk about Pascha. I'm so sorry. I did half a talk today. Can you believe that? Next time.
Tomorrow.
I can believe that. I can believe that.
So you're not taking any more questions?
But last question, and then I have to go collapse on the bench.
Father, maybe we should tell just in 2 words what is Orthodox, what makes the Orthodox faith different than all the other faiths. The Orthodoxy, it means the faith in the truth. All the other, they are not even churches. There's one church because the Lord Jesus Christ created one church. All the other religions, they don't believe in truth, in the truth. They believe in something else. Maybe it's not our business, but that's the truth.
I mean, to some degree, it's our business. That part, the big question is our
Father,
business.
if you give me the blessing, I'm going to read. I got this from the, well, it will take only 2 minutes. I got from the monastery St. Nectarios, Greek Orthodox in New York.
What
So
does it
says,
say? Go ahead.
The title is How Old is the Orthodox Church? So they say, if you are a Roman Catholic, your church shares the same rich and apostolic and doctrinal heritage as the Orthodox Church for the first 1,000 years of its history. Since during the first millennium, they were one and the same church, right? So Roman Catholics, they were in the same boat.
No, they were Orthodox, period.
Church.
They were not different, they were just Orthodox.
They were what?
The same truth of faith for the first.
For the first 1,000 years, yeah. There was one church in the 1,000
So
years.
sorry for my English, lamentably, in 1054, the Pope of Rome broke away from the other 4 apostolic patriarchates, Constantinople, Alexandria, Antioch, and Jerusalem, by tampering with the original creed of the church and considering himself to be the universal head of the church. Thus, your church is 943 years old.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're a Roman Catholic.
Yeah.
Now, if you are an Orthodox Christian, your religion was founded in the year 33 by Jesus Christ, the Son of God. It has not changed since that time. So no changes since the creation of the church. Our church is now about 2,000 years old.
Yeah,
Right.
thank you. That's what we believe.
Difference. Yes.
That's what we believe. And if somebody wants to participate in the holy mysteries, they have to believe that. It's pretty clear, right? Not only do they have to believe it, they have to love it. They have to be in love with the church. How's that for, do you love the church? Can you imagine coming to the chalice? Do you love Christ? Do you love the church? I think it's a good question. I think tomorrow, if I have a chalice, I'm going to ask you. No, really, seriously, in all seriousness, that has to be pouring out of you. That kind of love and devotion. Because that's how much he loves us. Amen. Amen.
4:30 would be Vespers, and we great Vespers. If you want to attend, you're most welcome.